All right, guys, we are back for another Dokkan battle video. So I was at the community fest today. A lot of good information was given out, information about Broly. A lot of stuff happened, but one of the most notable things was the demo play. So what it was, they described it as a new battle system previously. I don't know that that's a good descriptor for that because to me, like if someone would say a new battle system, I would think that would maybe even be, what original Battlefield was, where it was kind of like that tower defense mode. You'd be throwing characters out that would have like no interaction with like the orb field, for example, right? But, I did play it. I did experience the mode. Once you're actually in there, the characters' passives are still as is. There's still, orbs on the field. There's still Dokkan attacks. All these things are kind of as is. So, again, a new battle system doesn't feel accurate to me, but certainly new mode, definitely, I would say that is the case. Now, there is one thing I want to pull up. I'm actually gonna pull this up. I guess you guys are gonna I'm gonna pause quick. We're gonna see this. All right, guys, we're coming back. I wanted to try and find just like a good sort of like screenshot, and this kind of does the trick. So there's a map with now from what we saw, the whole demo play was. Oh, we'll come back to this later. The whole demo play, it was all Namek Saga. So all the characters we used were Namek Saga characters. All the bosses we fight. Well, we were only able to fight one Frieza boss. But they had various different, like, final form Friezas. Like, if I go to Namek Saga here, and I pull this up, there were various different final form Friezas, like, that were kind of just, as like little heads around like certain fights we could have done. We were only able to do one specific fight, but it looked like there was, going to be a lot of different, potential versions of that. So like there was just kind of like Friezas all over. And it was described again as, here, let me put this right here. A way where you can experience and enjoy the original story. So it wasn't like confirmed that like we would we do the Namek Saga version of this event and we're only specifically able to use Namek Sagas. That wasn't stated, but based on what we saw, I think that's probably a decent guess. So, if there was, because there was even, they did show like a screenshot, and it was Android Cell Saga. They showed the physical Super Saiyan 2 Gohan on rotation fighting a Cell, and then the various characters for Android Cell Saga. They were very, adamant, though, that this was still in development and was not finished and stuff, because I believe that screenshot of Gohan versus Cell, it was it was on Namek. So, like, obviously it wasn't, like, completely done. It wasn't completely finished. No. In this mode, we are, going to be able to move around, again, like I said, similar to the type of map Legends uses for their events. That was what I came to. My even first thought, though, was Dragon Ball Z Budokai 2. Budokai 2 kind of was one of those things where you're kind of like moving around the map just like that, right? So, we're able to use a party of 6 characters. There's no friend unit. There is no 7th unit there at all. And then of the 6 characters, it was split into 2 groups. It did say that each group has their own leader skill active. So that's something to keep in mind, that there is going to be multiple leader skills just in these 6 characters. And all 6 characters have their own individual HP bar. So like the first time I beat it twice. I believe we were given 20 minutes, and I was able to get 2 wins in before it ended. We had 2 rotations. Maybe I'll pause again to specifically show what the rotations were. The first rotation we had was Gohan and Piccolo, Namek Goku, and Full Power Frieza. And all 3 of them sucked. They got blown away by the Frieza. Literally, my very first turn, I had Namegoku in slot 1, and he was instantly killed. Like, just immediately blown off the map. And then the second rotation we were able to do was these 3 Ginyu Force characters. Captain Ginyu, Rikuma Goldo, and Jason Birder. They kicked the event's ass. I was putting in the work with the Ginyu Force, whereas Full Power Frieza, Namegoku, and Gohan and Piccolo were getting blown away. They were getting decimated. Now, my Namegoku died, and that that rotation still kept going. So again, imagine my Namegoku died in slot 1 before he was even able to attack. If there's attacks still in slot 1, it would move on to the next character, right? So like when you have kind of like when a character dies, because they all have their own individual HP pool, the attacks would then just move on to the next character. And you would only lose if all 6 characters lost their HP, right? Like that's a huge kind of like point in this mode here. So the characters had their normal passives, links, transformations. At one point, I was able to transform, or I guess exchange, the Kid Gohan into Piccolo. Like, I did actually get Piccolo out on the field, and Piccolo also wasn't really doing too good. But one of the reasons is because at the point of the fight I was in, Frieza was canceling dodge, which was a major, issue at the point. And Frieza was, we'll get to it, but Frieza was canceling dodge via the intensity meter. That's the way he was able to do that. And this is why I do push back on new battle system, right? Because again, passives, links, transformations, orb field, Dokkan attack, those were all there, all present. So like it is still kind of like the core gameplay of Dokkan is there. Now, you can swap to the second group at any kind of like time, right? You start with, it was again Namegoku, Full Power Frieza, and Gohan and Piccolo, and there was a button that we could push. Well, it was a button that would allow us to swap to the other group. Now, when you press the button, there was you have 3 charges. I've got it right here. You have 3 charges. You could use 1 charge to swap to your next group. 2 charges, I believe, was swap to the next group and then heal a little bit. And then 3 charges was swap to the next group, and then you give them it was like 100% attack and 30% defense or something like that. It was a big stat buff. But the thing I did is the first time I did it, I got blown up with Namegoku, Full Power Frieza, Gohan, and Piccolo. They got destroyed. And I did the full power, 3 charge swap. But then after that, I was just kind of stuck with the Ginyu Force. Because, I had used my charges and I wasn't able to replenish them. People were saying that a Dokkan attack does give you 1 charge. That's just something that I didn't notice with my gameplay of it. But I totally would believe that I just didn't notice that. And that was a thing, right? To gain extra charges. But it seemed to me like using the 2 charge swap or the 3 charge swap, which would give you extra abilities, seemed kind of pointless to me. Not really something to do. Oh, one other thing I should mention, right? When I'm talking about the game has the same core gameplay. Remember, every character has their own individual HP pool. Getting same type orbs with that character will still heal that character's individual HP bar. So, again, we have the rotation of Namegoku, Full Power Frieza, Gohan, and Piccolo. If I get AGL orbs with Full Power Frieza, I heal Frieza. If I get in orbs with Namegoku, I'm healing Namegoku. So that's another thing to keep in mind with that. So, again, remember, we could use a charge to swap to the other group. Now, the reason you're incentivized to be swapping is the boss had something called the intensity meter. It was if you look up a yellow caution sign, or something like that, the meter, it looked like that. It was just a yellow button. And as the turn goes up where you stay as the same group, it just goes up. And what happens is as it goes up, as the intensity meter increases, the boss hits harder, and then eventually can cancel ability to dodge, seal your super attacks, and then even get more damage. So you are encouraged to swap your groups a lot to keep the boss from getting too powerful. Now, the thing I noticed was I think some of the abilities of the boss were not working correctly because he was able to prevent me from dodging. That was something that did happen. But one thing that the boss didn't do is it looked like he, like eventually as the intensity meter goes up, the boss, I believe what is intended is he would just seal the whole rotation from supering. So obviously at that point, you kind of have to charge. But that seal ability did not work at that time. My full power Frieza was dead and my Namek Goku was dead because they sucked. And I had Gohan and Piccolo exchanged into Piccolo. And Piccolo was still super attacking, even though it looked like he should have been sealed. So that is something to keep in mind with that, right? So as the boss, again, gets stronger, they're going to be getting those abilities. Now, after you beat it, it literally just played this exact animation right here. The large Spirit Bomb STR Namek Goku animation. This literally just played kind of like a cutscene right here to show us finishing it. So that's where, again, it being kind of like a story mode is like we would finish one of those fights, and I'm sure one of the iconic attacks or one of the iconic scenes would probably play at the very end of each one of these fights, to show we got through it. Now, the rewards seemed very cool. So it was new customizable card effects that you could apply to characters. Both LR and TUR characters were shown with the new effects. In particular, this Goku looked like, I don't even know how to describe it, but he looked, I thought, jaw-dropping good. Now, there was talk of the diamond background being removed. That was not stated. I mean, it, could be just an effect, like the characters that we put these new effects on, it's very possible they don't have the diamond backgrounds. But remember, that's something that wasn't really stated. Another thing I saw on Twitter, like people kind of talking about, is talking about a super EZA for this guy. That also was not stated, was not hinting at nothing. It's entirely possible I missed something, but I saw no allusion whatsoever towards this guy super easing or diamond backgrounds being removed. Some of those things, again, I saw people kind of like tweeting a lot about. That was not in there. So we saw effects for this guy, which I thought looked the best. We also saw effects for full power Frieza, and then we also saw effects for Gohan and Krillin right here, the LR. Theirs was interesting because some actual words popped up for them. If you guys think of the scene where I can't remember, in JoJo, there was a character who it's like they could tell like if you're lying or something like that, and like with JoJo was like yes, 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 no, 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 like the way that text would pop up during that scene in the anime. That was kind of how we saw text pop up on the Gohan and Krillin, right, as our kind of like reward for beating the mode. So that looks cool. Like the ability to be able to customize these characters, arts and effects, I think is something that sounds really, really cool to me. So, all right, guys, I think that mostly covers everything. Again, there's the map you can move around. The core gameplay is the same, but I think the biggest point to the mode is going to be managing your groups of 3 and then swapping, between them kind of correctly. Now, it's hard to tell exactly how difficult this mode is going to be or what, because I think it's entirely possible the rotation they gave us, which is, again, Gohan and Piccolo, Namek, Frieza, and Namek Goku, they were just ass. Because my Ginyu Force, they were fucking stomping that Frieza down. Dude, Raccoon and Goldo were not taking damage. Jason Berta were dodging like crazy. Ginyu was not taking damage. They were dominating Frieza. So it's hard to tell. And also, they did not even give us any info, any hints, nothing towards when this might be coming out. I mean, I think maybe vaguely I could make a guess at anniversary, maybe, and then maybe Namek can have a big presence in anniversary. I think that's possible as well, right? I think both of those things are possible. So, all right, guys, we'll end here, but that's just kind of like the new mode. Just kind of looking through everything here. I mean, I feel like I did explain most of the different aspects of it. We'll see. I mean, I'm sure there's a decent chance that we could even see the mode look quite a bit different compared to what like I played, because after we played it, we had like group sit downs where us as the players were able to give feedback on what we liked and didn't like about the mode. And I heard a lot of different things, so we'll see how much the feedback to the developers will kind of factor into how this mode might look. So let me know what you guys think about this new mode coming out. By the way, I did not see a name given to this either. Like, it's just like new battle system, new mode, but there wasn't, it just, I believe it just said like a new hard challenging event is here or something like that. So we'll see when this is going to come. You know, the earliest is probably 11th anniversary, and we'll see if they're going to provide any extra details or what. So let me know what you guys think, and I'll catch y'all next time.